Hey everybody, Ed Weeks Jr. I am coming to you today from the new office. Excited about the new office in the house. Moved my big guy, my son downstairs. Our two daughters have moved out. Moved my son downstairs and now have his room redone, repainted, and ready to basically plant myself in. And I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks and just absolutely love it. I wanted to drop a new episode of the Weeks Weekly. I was just looking and realized I haven't dropped a new episode in the new year. Holy cow, what am I doing? But the reality is I had a lot of things going on and kind of head down getting things done, and got a bunch of updates that I'm going to share with you. I've realized that I wanted to start doing this podcast exclusive, not just simply grabbing the audio from YouTube videos that I'm sharing, but really making this an exclusive path into my life. So anyways, here we go. What's new in 2025? Let's start with a few roles that I've added to the mix. So I am no longer running a service-based digital agency. I am, however, in a pretty cool role right now in what I call my fractional offering. So I am doing some fractional CMO work. I spent the better part of a decade doing the hands-on marketing, now offering fractional services for a few businesses local here in the Hudson Valley, as well as coming out with here as Q2 will start, should get this out sometime in April, the Ed's Fractional Fix, it's going to be called, and it's going to be a really cool tool to utilize all of my experience, my MBA, a lot of my other experience to be able to utilize in your small business instead of hiring me direct, because I can only work with so many people in that capacity. I'll go to one-to-many model and offer fractional services for literally 1/100th of the cost to a whole slew of new people. And I'm going to start that with a newsletter called Ed's Fractional Fix. So look forward to that. I will put more content around that out sooner than later, but just wanted to talk about that. So the fractional CMO stuff. I also am doing fractional sales. So I am right now in an offering with an agency, Scaled On agency that was someone I looked at in a much different capacity a few years back, found a pretty cool relationship with the founder. I shouldn't say found, but developed a really cool relationship with the founder. And now I'm in there driving, spearheading the sales side of it. Really good agency, great team. Shared some stuff on my personal LinkedIn. I think on my Instagram as well today about how cool it is to have, a sales meeting from my office here in Poughkeepsie, dialing into Maryland, New Hampshire, Maine, and then across to Europe and down into Asia. And just such a cool thing to think about, a global presence that you can have with a team in an instant. I mean, just amazing stuff, right? So anyways, fractional sales role, Vale, I love it. Great agency. I'm going to really get after going into the home services space, because quite frankly, the team is managing, a $25 million plus budget for a very large home services company. And I want to bring that wealth of knowledge and our team to a bunch of home services companies throughout the country. So that's something I'm going to be spearheading. I'm excited about that. I know we can crush it for home service-based businesses, roofers, windows, you name it, landscapers, tree guys. I've talked to a few people locally, but the budgets aren't there. I've said this for years, but now I'm going to really say it again. You definitely need some good budget, $10K plus monthly, to get real results and be able to use real data to make optimal decisions. And our team will literally kill it for you. So I'm going to be building that out. I'm excited to see how that progresses throughout 2025. So those are a couple of fractional roles that I've been growing and spearheading since I've put anything out into the universe here on my podcast. The other piece is I'm really looking forward to driving a lot more guests. I met and talked to this awesome company, Pod Pitch, really cool founder. He introduced me to a really cool dude locally here in my area, and I'm going to be utilizing his services to start really getting after guests to this podcast. I want to start talking to a lot more business owners that are just killing it out there in a number of capacities. So I am going to spearhead newsletters that are, one is focused on, as I said to you, the Ed's Fractional Fix. The other is going to be spearheaded into sales, Revenue Stack, which again is already ready to go and launching April 1, is my B2B newsletter that I am just excited. I have 34 plus, time flies when you're having a good time, 34 plus years out here doing the sales game. And now I am just so looking forward to bringing a lot of the perspectives, a lot of the great people I've learned from, connecting with new people. There's all sorts of tips, techniques, things that I want to bring to the mix and kind of bring in some of the old school and the basic. A lot of the basics of sales are constant across the years. People try to make it new, but I just want to bring a lot of those things that have worked for me, those things that have not worked for me, and just share all that in a newsletter form and make that part of the podcast. The podcast is called The Weeks Weekly, bringing on weekly guests to be able to talk about, some of the fractional stuff that I'm doing, some of the sales stuff that I'm doing. And the last piece that I will bring up, and I'm super stoked about, is really in a personal level, working with my son, eventually with my daughters and my wife, and launching what we're calling the Wild Weeks, which again, nothing to do with sales, nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with business, but really all about maximizing the time that we do have and being able to enjoy that time outdoors. If any of you follow anything I do on social media, you'll see pictures either fishing or walking or, kayaking. And that's, a tenth of what we do. And I really want to get into sharing all that stuff in a much more organized format and more in a media company perspective. So as you can tell, just from this, there's 3 to 4 assets that I really look forward to be building out this year in that media company perspective. I think we all have to start realizing that we are media companies. So in light of that, I'll be capturing a lot of that stuff. And that stuff, the Wild Weeks is going to include, what's coming up now, the AAU season for my son, the fishing that we get to do together for, first up will be trout. And then we'll be doing some stuff, hopefully for stripers this year, and then tying that right into bass and, some of the trips we do and some of the great stuff that we're able to catch while we're upstate New York. So, hopefully it captures and gives people a platform to understand, basically how to plan all these things and maximize the time and, take full advantage of, even as a parent of an AAU kid or a kid who plays travel sports, to understand that, it's tough because, they play so many games and they're tired, but you got to maximize those times. Like, make sure that you're enjoying the areas you're at. We do Springfield, Massachusetts. It's one of our tournaments. Make sure we get to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Or we do Saratoga. Make sure that you're taking full advantage of Saratoga and all the great things that it's offering, and just spotlight that stuff. Sounds simple, but I've had to learn all this stuff kind of through hard knocks, going and doing instead of knowing exactly what to be able to plan and do and having a resource for that. Fishing, talk about, I'm jumping all over the place, but talk about like trout fishing, like going from someone who is a fresh lake fisherman. I'm always, since I was a little kid, younger than my son, who is going to be 14 this year, I remember 8 to 10 years old walking down the road in the town I grew up to fish. I had a lake by my house, but there was much bigger bass in this certain lake. And, we would spend hours out there. So I've been fresh lake bass fishing my whole life. I've passed that on to both of my older daughters and to my son, thankfully, because the lake that is right behind my parents' house, fortunate to have both of my parents still with me and spend time there over the summer, just absolutely catching hogs, having a great time and catching some big bass. A lot of pickerel in that lake recently, unfortunately, but we just have so much fun doing that. But when you transition into trout fishing, streams, where you have to park, the public access, all these things can consume all your time and you never drop a darn line in the water. So those things, for people that are looking for that, awesome. Like, hopefully we can provide that resource. Hiking, something I've wanted to do is, I think there's between 5 and 7 fire towers in the area that you can visit, and you can plan it out and you can get your badge and do all these things. And I really want to get that documented so other people have a resource to be able to do it with ease, right? Because again, I work, my wife works, we're busy with sports travel, we're busy with life. We want, when we go and do these things, to be able to maximize that time and not take away from it trying to plan. Having a resource like this, hopefully it'll help a bunch of people. If nothing else, it'll be a great way to look at my memories, but I'm hoping that it has benefit outside of that. Walking. Again, if you know me, if you don't, I have, somebody that at a young age struggled to get over 160 pounds at 6'3", for most of my young life up until my mid-20s, then being diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, and putting on significant weight over, up in probably when my 40s is when it really kicked in. I quit smoking, had, my thyroid basically radiated, gone, taking daily Synthroid, quitting smoke. All that led to significant weight gain in my 40s to where now, I've pushed 300 more than once. But putting a resource together just to motivate people to get out there and walk. Like, I love walking. It has helped me beyond belief. Just in a perspective of my blood work numbers that come back, it's amazing how good it's been. I had someone call me still at over 280 pounds. I had a doctor call me his poster child for walking. When I get the diet dialed in, and I do that, like, just having all that as a resource for people that are struggling with that shit. Because, as a 54-year-old male, there's nothing more pathetic than seeing people comment, "Oh, who would listen to you? You're weight." Like, the negative comments that come in are just disgusting. And I think I deal with it a lot better than somebody who maybe has been struggled with weight their whole lives. The reality is I never did, right? So I just look at it as like, why would you ever say? I don't think I ever recall. And if I did when I was young, I apologize to anyone who's hearing this, but I don't ever recall picking on someone because of weight. Pathetic people are. Like, I look at people that are all buffed up and think, what can you do besides go to the gym, right? And think about it. But all that being said, it's all good. We all have our own past. I just think I'm hoping these resources, Wild Weeks, even though it's really an initiative to get out there with my son and enjoy the outdoors, it's also with the wife as I walk. It's also with, the weight battle. It's everything you can imagine, because after all, it's a passion, and it's a passion project. So those are the things that I'm working on here. Again, it's been a fun journey. I look at it as that. It's Lent season. If you know me at all, I converted to Catholicism. I'm very spiritual and religious these days. Not that I'm going to put it in your face, but I do spend a lot of time praying this time of the year, and the clarity that I receive and the clear path and all these things that have changed them. It's just, to me, it's so cool. I mean, it's so cool, and all glory be to God. Honestly, it's pretty amazing stuff to transition. And, a lot of other pieces of my life, knowing how important my wife is to me, not always understanding that, knowing how important it is to me to be, with the label husband, with the label dad, with the label son, with the label brother, friend. All these things are so much more in depth, have so much more depth and meaning to me now. And it's pretty cool. I know I am someone who's had a circle of massive amount of friends, and I know that circle has gotten super tight, and that's, honestly, it's with reason. I enjoy spending time with like-minded people, and that circle gets smaller and smaller when you really truly understand what you want to do. So I know I'm going on here and kind of getting off subject. Look, I'm back. The Weeks Weekly. I'm excited to put down weekly content. I'm excited to get guests on here. I'm excited about the 3 or 4 different initiatives I have going. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun remaining time here. And that's probably something I haven't been able to say. Maybe I've said it, but I've never really felt it. I'm excited about what lies ahead. There's something I say every day, and I'm going to share that with you in my closing here this week. First off, I want to thank you for listening. If you're still listening, if you're a new listener, I thank you. If you're an old listener, thanks for coming back. But I want to close this today with something I read in the paper in an obituary. I'm going to say 6 months ago. Could be sooner, could be later. Everything seems like 6 months these days. But I'm going to close with this statement because I think it's a pretty cool thing to say every day. And that doesn't, wherever you are in your path, I think this has merit. And it's simply, this is what I say. For all that has been, God, thank you. For all that will be, yes. And with that, I wish you a happy National Pie Day. I wish you an early happy St. Patty's Day. And if you're in the Northeast, enjoy some of this awesome weather that's coming in. If you're anywhere else, enjoy life. Hope all is well. Talk soon.